Hi, I'm Olivia. Welcome to Marin English Lab. In this lesson, you can learn how to speak more fluently in English. How long have you been studying English? Do you find that sometimes, even though you study hard, you can't speak fluently? Do you learn lots of grammar and vocabulary, but still find it difficult to make sentences when you speak? In this lesson, we're going to talk about fluency and what you can do to change this situation and improve your English fluency. Sometimes, when people talk about fluency, they just mean speaking a language well. For some people, speaking English fluently just means having a good general level of English. However, fluency is more specific than that. Fluency means you can speak smoothly, without stopping or hesitating. There are two sides to fluency. One side is physical, your mouth needs to produce and connect English sounds and words in a fast, smooth way. The other side of fluency is mental, your brain needs to find the right words and build English sentences quickly and smoothly. To improve your fluency, you need to work on both sides, physical and mental. But first, there are many things you can do to improve your English fluency. However, if you want to become more fluent, there's really one thing you have to do: get out there and speak English. Talk to people and have conversations regularly. Nothing else you can do is as important as this. Reading English will improve your reading. Practicing listening will improve your listening. But what about speaking? Nothing will help your speaking except speaking. Speaking English is a practical skill. It's not an academic subject, it's not something you can learn from a book. It's more like doing a sport or playing a musical instrument. You need to practice regularly to make any progress. How regularly? As often as you can. There's no maximum, but I'd recommend you need to spend at least 2 to 3 hours a week speaking English if you want to improve. So, how can you do this? Go to classes, talk to expats in your city. Join groups or activities with English speakers. Find a conversation partner online, do a language exchange. There are many possibilities. By the way, what you do doesn't have to be language focused. You can go to English classes to practice speaking, but anything you do in English that makes you speak is just as good. I'm going to take a guess here about what many of you are thinking right now. But I don't have people to talk to. But I'm shy. But it's too difficult. Let's talk about that quickly. Speaking a foreign language is hard. Situations which would be easy in your own language can feel difficult in another language. Situations which would feel difficult in your language can feel almost impossible when you have to do them in a foreign language. That's how it is. It's easy to imagine, when you start learning another language, that you will reach a point where everything feels easy and comfortable. But unless you live in a foreign country and live completely inside that culture, that won't happen. Trust me, I've studied several languages in my life and speak them quite well, but it never feels easy or comfortable. Why are we talking about this? I'm trying to motivate you to go out and speak more. Practice more. To do that, you have to accept that it will feel difficult, uncomfortable, and intimidating a lot of the time. That's how it is, don't let it stop you. You can still practice, you can still communicate. And you can still improve. I'll give you an example from my own experience. I hate making phone calls in another language. I don't know why, but I find it particularly intimidating. I guess it's because I can't use context or facial expressions or anything like that to help me understand or communicate. I lived in Russia and studied Russian. I hated making phone calls in Russian. Then I lived in China and studied Chinese. I hated making phone calls in Chinese. Now I'm studying Greek. Guess what? I hate making phone calls in Greek, too. It still feels just as difficult and intimidating. I haven't learned any tricks to make it easier. All I've done is accept that this is how it feels. That's it. I still do it, because sometimes I have to. I just accept that I'm going to feel nervous. Or uncomfortable, and I have to speak and communicate anyway. And I do. Feeling nervous does not stop you communicating. This will be the same for you sometimes. It might be phone calls, it might be something else. The key point? You have to accept and learn to deal with that pressure. Don't think, it feels scary, so I won't do it. It won't feel less scary in the future. The only way to make it easier is to go out and do it. If you do that, you'll feel more confident. It will get a little bit easier with time. Okay, so you know the most important point about fluency, but is there anything else you can do to practice? Yes, there is. Find a text in English. It can be something from a textbook, a newspaper, a blog, or anywhere. The text should be fairly easy for you. Don't choose something with a lot of new words. Or something far above your current level. Sit down with a timer. Read the text aloud. Time yourself. Now read it again. Try to beat your previous time. Keep going like this. See how fast you can read. What's this for? Remember that part of fluency is physical. Your mouth needs to produce English sounds and words fast and smoothly. Speed reading is a great way to practice that side of fluency. And it's really useful because you can do it almost anywhere. You can practice for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or half an hour, it all helps. Let's see another good technique. Find a song in English. Choose something you like. Find the lyrics online. If you don't know where to look, just put the song title and the word lyrics into Google. You'll find them. Play the song. Read the lyrics. Sing. Like speed reading, this is a great way to practice the physical side of fluency. When you sing a song, you have to go at the speed of the song. Start with slower songs, then choose faster ones. Try to choose something possible but challenging. This will really help with your physical fluency. It's also easy to do, one song a day. And I promise you will feel a difference quickly. I used this technique a lot when I was learning Chinese, and it really helped. Speed reading and singing songs are good for physical fluency. But what about the mental side? Let's see what you can do to improve that. Here's a question. How do you learn vocabulary? When I see students learning vocabulary, often it looks like this. People write down the English word, the translation in their own language, and then try to memorize it. Okay, but what does that have to do with fluency? Think about it. If you learn language like this, you're making your brain do things in an unnatural and complicated way. First, you're learning each word individually. But when you speak a language, you don't need individual words. You need phrases and sentences. Second, you're learning English through your own language. You're not learning to speak English. You're learning to translate into English in your head. So does this sound familiar? You have a sentence in your head in your own language, then translate each word into English. If you don't know a translation, you get stuck. Feel bad about your English, and stop speaking. You need to break this habit if you want to speak fluently. This way of thinking will always be slow. You're trying to think in 2 languages at once. It's too difficult for anybody. So what can you do? Learn language in phrases and sentences. For example, imagine someone asks, "What are you doing this weekend?" Look at 3 answers. I'm going to see some old friends. I'm thinking of going for a bike ride. I might do some odd jobs around the house. Now make your own. I'm going to. I'm thinking of. I might. Try to make 2 or 3 sentences for each one. If you remember language in big pieces, you only have to remember 2 things. I'm going to plus see some old friends. I'm going to plus have dinner with my family. I'm going to plus watch some old movies. That makes it easy to respond fluently. Now take another sentence. I went for a walk yesterday. Keep the structure, but change part of it. Yesterday. Now make 2 to 3 sentences. I took an exam yesterday. I was lazy all day yesterday. I cooked a spicy curry yesterday. Practice and remember phrases like this. It's a much more natural way to learn vocabulary. If you learn vocabulary this way, it will be much easier to respond fluently, because you won't need to translate. You'll remember whole phrases and sentences. Okay, that's the end of our lesson. I hope you learned something about spoken fluency and how you can improve your fluency in English. You can find more free English lessons on our channel, Marin English Lab. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.